All right, what's going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me and see my chart. All right, what's going on, everybody? Checking out something that Jason put in. The circle of life. That's really funny. At age 80, success is not peeing in your pants, just like it was at 10. Oh, that's funny. All right, so little impromptu here, but I got to go through my analysis anyway. I haven't done much of it in the last 24 hours, so I got to go through everything anyway. So I just thought I'd hop on and do a little live session for it. So let's get started. I'm going to look at a bunch of stuff right now. I don't know, you guys can pop in and out and leave or hang out or do whatever you want to, but I'm just going to record or, just do as much of this as I possibly can. So, because I want to look at, I'm starting to feel like there's a little bit of risk off starting to hit the market. I think that we had this little, and we'll go through all of this in here, but I think we had this little pop in risk, basically. If you look at oil and equities and risk currencies, okay, we had this move up, and today we're getting a correction in that. And I want to see if it's going to be longer term, like if it's going to go back to risk off, or if it's going to try and continue, just be a small pullback and then continue in a risk on kind of scenario. Okay. Because at the end of the day, risk on, risk off is what's going to determine a lot for what we do as currency traders, right? Equities, yes and no, but currency traders, risk on and risk off tends to drive a lot. So I always try and get a good feel for what's going on with risk, right? So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'm just going to go through some stuff. All right. So S&P here, monthly chart, right? 1810, that's the level I've been talking about for a very long time, right? And for 2 months, it tested that level and found support there, okay? 1810, 1812. Anyway, I think 1810 is pretty accurate. I like 1810 a lot, okay? On a monthly chart, you still have a great stack, right? You still have potentially, a new Momo forming here on a monthly chart, which could take us back up and run a 2135 level, right? I mean, this to me for a long time, for months now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months, right? Has screamed liquidity, okay? And I would think that area would be tested before downside would be tested, right? And it's still in stack. It's still pressure up right now. Like as much as we want to, this is where paying attention to what price is actually doing versus what we want it to do is kind of important, right? Because it's still stack up. It's still monthly stack up, and that means that the pressure over the course of time will still be up on equities until that changes, right? Until this goes CT or does something that shows, breaks a shelf, breaks a level, okay? Breaks structure, does something to show us that it's changed, okay? So risk on is still happening in equities on a monthly basis. On a weekly basis, right? We're in CT, but we're in a satisfied CT, okay? We're in a CT that has touched the 200 and is now working its way back up into what I consider the S&P's range. All right, we're back almost to the midpoint of the range, and the daily chart will be a little bit more interesting than this, but just know that you have a weekly satisfied CT. Daily chart. So here's a 200 on a daily chart. Okay, again, CT on a daily, back up to the 200 that has been satisfied. All right, now here's where it gets interesting. This is where, okay, if once we popped, because my level for a long time on S&P was 1940, I think, 1950. I forget what it was, 1940 or 1950, somewhere in there. All right, and it popped that, right? That's where, here's why it's my level. Because if you were trying to short the S&P, if you were trying to you know, get ahead of the S&P and short it, and you got in here, where would your stop be? If you saw this day and you got short in this candle somehow, you did an awesome job and tried to write it down to break 1810, where would stops be? Stops would be above these wicks. Okay, they're obvious liquidity places that needed to be hit. Okay, now this is where S&P's at a decision point. It's at a daily 200. Okay, it's stacked down, or sorry, it was stacked down, and now it's CT. All right, so it's at fair value. So you're in basically a monthly range in the middle of it at a daily 200. So you're in the middle of a monthly range and a daily fair value, right? And so after just touching weekly fair value. So you kind of get this impression that S&P is not going to blow anybody's socks off in either direction just quite yet, right? But I will be interested to see if it pushes up towards the top of the range through fair value, or if it will choose to find this as, you know, this is probably about a 786. Who uses all this? Oh, check it out. You got a 3 drives pattern on here. I got to play with that. Huh. Interesting. Time cycles. Dude. Sorry, I'm getting all a freaking fib on this thing. I know I've seen it. I know I've seen it before. Come on now. Oh, right there. That's right. So probably about a 786. Not quite. Okay. So you're sitting in between a 618 and a 786 on the daily fib, and you know I would be neutral equities right now. Okay. I would be 100% neutral risk in this case. Okay, so we got one that's neutral risk. Learning something new on your birthday. Yeah, how to find a fib. That's a great thing to learn. So I'm pretty neutral S&P right now. Okay, if it's below 1810 or above, what, 2035 I think it was. Yeah, 2135. Okay, 2135, 1810. That's sort of marking the range for me right now. And once it moves out of those areas, it will be far more interesting. Okay, DXY. Let's just take a look at what's going on here. I haven't looked at DXY in a little while. Okay, so this is, again, 50-something% euro US dollar. So this is going to mirror the euro pretty closely, and you could see that. Okay, euro's moving up today, dollar's moving down on the DXY. Doesn't translate well into a lot of other pairs, but you know, I don't know, you still look at it, I guess. So on a daily, let's move out to the monthly, see what's going on, because we have this monthly formation, right, that's looked like a continuation formation for a long time, and we said, you know, it's probably going to continue up to 100.2 or 100.4, and it did that, and it took the liquidity up there, and now it's had a very, very hard time gaining any more momentum, right? Daily is still not, or I'm sorry, monthly is still not stacked. So that, I mean, in all reality, okay, is it on a monthly basis, you know, out of the realm of possibility? As many times as we've seen moving averages, is it out of the realm of possibility to see DXY work its way back down to fair value? I mean, this is not stack yet, okay? You're overbought on the stochastic. I mean, this thing, dollar index still has big time frame move to or room to move down. You know, as much as it looks like continuation, shoot, it hasn't even touched the 20 yet. Okay, and the 20 comes in at 94.27. So there could still be, all right, there could still be some serious dollar headwinds before it could choose to turn around and do something, right? So if we look, what was that, 94? What do we got here? 94.27 ish for a 20. I mean, is that outside of the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. Another $2, $2.50 down on DXY. Totally within the realm of possibility. Doesn't break structure, doesn't do anything, right? But it could be the reset move that dollar needs to actually go break out again, if that's what it's going to do. All right. Obviously, weekly's in a nice stack, rolling over a little bit. It's not finding the support at the 20 that it normally would in a really strong trend. So I think dollar's got a little bit of rollover to it. That would be generally risk on kind of a scenario. Okay, if dollar's moving down, then AUD is moving up, New Zealand's moving up, pound's moving up. Okay, risk currencies are moving up. If dollar's moving down, gold is moving up. If dollar's moving down, oil's moving up. Okay, it's sort of risk, dollar down would be risk on kind of scenario, right? So that's something to think about as we do the analysis. Okay, on a daily chart, we're back to the daily. That is basically sitting at fair value on a daily. Okay, there's not much that we can look at in terms of, wow, this is really moving a direction. So we've got S&P neutral. We've got DXY neutral. Okay, DXY is definitely not moving in a direction right now. Seems like a further pullback, 94.30 could be highly likely or a good potential. Okay. Some people were asking about DAX the other day. I'll just go through it real quick. I don't trade this or normally look at it, but DAX is on a monthly basis getting close to oversold. Okay, still stack up on a monthly. Interesting looking continuation pattern there. So I don't know. Let's see. Probably works the same. I've never thought about it, but does euro, if euro's weak, does DAX go up? Does the Jerther go up? Somebody that has traded this or watches it normally, tell me if that's the case. Looks like it could be, finding some kind of support there. Weekly fair value, CT satisfied. Not a lot to work with there. So again, if you're a DAX trader, looks like you could be going CT on a daily potentially soon. Maybe. Pretty overbought on the stochastic. It hasn't turned yet. This has the potential to go Momo on the daily. Okay. So DAX, I would say, is it's neutral to potentially bearish. Potentially bearish. You may get some if it works the same as dollar to S&P, then euro appreciating could mean some DAX weakness. It's all inflation based, right? I learned that. I read this book called. Let me see if I can find it. No, that's not it. I'll find it. Anyways, I read a book on the Weimar Republic and the inflationary pressures on stock markets during currency devaluations is actually pretty amazing. It's really one of the best places to have your money if your currency is being devalued, because it at least keeps up with inflation, right? And I could go into a big long thing about what I think the Fed did over the last 6 years, but basically they just pushed everybody into risk, and it's done exactly the same thing. If you weren't in the stock market, you didn't get paid crap for what happened over the last 6 years. Anyways, not a story nor a conversation for here or now. Let's go to gold. Let's see what gold's doing. Gold is flying high, right? So this is risk on. This is, well, it's a safe haven asset, right? But you see gold prices appreciate when the dollar goes down, which follows odd moving up and New Zealand moving up, and follows risk assets moving up, right? So it's not technically a risk on asset, but that's how it flows. So you see these, enormous move in gold, right? And I put a chart in the chat room the other day talking about how it looks like commodities are being window dressed, right? It looks like, you're in a CT on a monthly chart here, okay? You're in a plain CT, and it has not been satisfied, okay? 960 would be a satisfied CT on a monthly chart. My gut tells me that that's going to happen, all right? My gut tells me there's still a little bit more dollar strength out there, and there's a little bit more risk off type of action out there before this thing actually pops, okay? That's my gut. Don't listen to it. It also, ate some chili last night, and, well, it didn't actually eat chili, but, probably ate something that, upset it and gave me weird gut feelings, okay? So don't listen to it. But it looks like they're window dressing this, okay? They're trying to get it to some places where I bet if we move down, this thing ran a bunch of stops. Okay, a bunch of structure, yeah. So you got this major structure on the weekly back here that's still there, but you took out a lot of places where people would have had stops. Okay, so then on a weekly chart, you're at a 200. You're a satisfied CT at fair value. So what's the main theme that we're seeing across the risk right now, right? It's all sort of evened out. It's all sort of at fair value, and it's all sort of neutral, okay? I mean, a monthly chart of gold is still, in the big scheme of things, neutral. Weekly is absolutely neutral because it's at fair value, all right? But on the smaller time, so the bigger time frames are neutral. S&P, what else do we look at? DAX, DXY, okay? Now you get down to the smaller time frames, they start to show a little bit. But gold here, okay, gold to me seems like it at least needs, okay, and this is my same theory I had on odd dollar. Okay, it seems to me it at least needs a 382 or some kind of retracement back towards the 20. I mean, the 20 right now would give you a 618 retracement, which would make a lot of sense right now, okay? It would make a ton of sense for gold to make this move and reset and be able to work its way higher, all right? The fact that it would make a ton of sense probably means it's not going to happen, and I'm probably wrong. But that being said, it looks like, excuse me, this should happen. And what I said about odd dollar, okay? Odd dollar is effectively my way of being able to trade gold, okay? Being a U.S., compatriot, I cannot trade gold on my retail Forex platform, nor silver, nor oil, nor any of the cool stuff that anybody else gets to trade. So if I want to trade gold via currency, I trade odd dollar, just like I trade oil via dollar CAD. Okay, so we'll get into that later, but we'll get into odd dollar later. But this is how I'm looking at gold. Okay, it's risk on right now. It's dollar negative, but I do think that it's going to require some kind of a pullback. Okay, this is pretty good window dressing they're doing here. Okay, this is pretty good. Drive out anybody that's short, and it's evening out. Okay, it's kind of coming it's coming to fair value on a weekly, and it's probably going to slow down and find some what what am I trying to say here? Some kind of range that it'll work on for a little while and then pick a direction, okay? But I would not be long gold into this right now, okay? So I would not be long odd dollar on a big scale, into this. If anything, I'd be considering ways to try and play pullbacks. So that's gold. Gold. I should get some gold member quotes for that. Oil did exactly what I thought it was going to do. Okay. Ran 38 stops. I think it ran 38. Yeah, ran 38 stops and has run into brand spanking new shorts up in this area. Okay. Weekly couldn't be prettier on a stack basis, right? Coming up, hitting 20, overbought on the stochastics almost. Okay, give it a little bit of time to work its way through, and we will be looking for oil shorts. Okay, coming into the near future. All right, because I maybe am a glutton for punishment. What happened to all of my lines? Huh. I will not be a long-term bull of oil until 25 is taken out. All right. They must have switched contracts on me. How does that work with oil? Do they how do they how does it work with the contracts? I'm getting like alerts now when sorry. So they must have changed the oil contract because I haven't seen oil at 26. I didn't see oil at 26 before on my last charts. Crude oil WTI must be a different month. So anyways, as you can tell, I'm not a professional oil trader, but I look, anytime you get this kind of formation, okay, this is a monthly chart. Anytime you get this kind of formation, that wick is going to be tested. Okay, that wick is going to be tested, and it's going to be, there's going to be a whole new round of long oil stops down there, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of people that are looking at these charts and saying, oh man, oil's, but everybody around me, okay, I got neighbors that are like, I got this guy next door who wants me to put together a plan for him to get into some oil stocks, and he's like getting on my butt because he's like, hey man, oil's going up. I'm like, okay, bro. So you're one of the guys that they're trying to sell to right now, okay? I don't tell him that, but if I was honest with him, I'd say, look, dude, you're the guy right now that's taking the other side of their trade right now. You're taking the other side of their shorts if you're long on oil at this point, okay? Because I firmly believe, without a doubt in my pea-sized little baby brain, okay, that until production is cut, which is obvious, okay, oil's not going to bottom. What is it going to take for for production to be cut? Basically, every leader around the world has come out and say, you know what, screw you, we're not cutting production, okay, we're not going to touch it, and fine. Everybody's kicking, keeping the taps up. Everybody's producing as much oil as they were before. And now, okay, the only way that we are going to actually see cuts in production is for companies to go bankrupt, okay? For companies to literally go out of the market because they can't afford to be in business anymore, okay? If you think about it, okay, the debt is the problem. The debt is the problem because they can't stop producing oil because they have to cash flow a stupid, outrageous amount of debt, right? It's like having credit cards on, and you got to work because you got to pay the credit cards, right? You got to pay all your bills, plus you have to pay the credit cards. Well, if you didn't have the credit cards, you wouldn't have to work so hard, okay? You'd be able to produce less and do more. But they have to keep up. Okay, if they need $70 a barrel to finance their operation, well, then they say, screw it, I need 2 barrels of oil now for every one that I used to produce. So we're actually feeding, we're feeding a monster, okay, until the market adjusts itself, okay, until the market figures itself out and cycles through all of the bad stuff that's in there. Oil is not bottomed, okay? Don't buy oil. Buy oil in the low 20s, okay? I'm telling you right now, below 25, start it, okay? Start your position. You see 22, you take on more, okay? Or 23, every $2. You see 23, you take on more, or every $1. If you wanted to do every $1 and you wanted to increase position slightly and pyramid into oil, dude, like 25, 24, 23, and then, if you get down into the low 20s, you just like take out a second mortgage on your friend's house and find some subprime dealer to do that for you, and you just buy as much oil as you possibly can. All right, because one day all of this will work itself out. Okay, all of these companies that over leveraged and now can't produce the oil or can't run their business will cycle through that oil. They will cycle through the debt, and those companies won't exist anymore. Production will be cut, and the market will be able to stabilize and normalize. But until then, I'm a freaking oil short all day long. All right? Sorry. I told you I might just ramble on in this thing, okay? Come and go as you want to. I'm just going to sit here and talk about some stuff as I see fit. I don't know. Has anybody watched TBT or TLT? The what are they called? What's that called? Exchange traded fund? Is that what it is? Yeah. Hey Ben, don't buy oil. Does it sound better in my not so girly voice? If anybody watches bonds, we could take a look at TBT or TLT. ETF. Yeah, it's an ETF. So TBT is basically like an ultra short US bonds, and TLT is ultra long US bonds or whatever. If anybody wants to look at those, let me know. I'll move past them though. You want to look? Okay. Which one do you want to look at? Do you want to look at short or long, Romeo? Here, I'll type it in here so we can. Let's see here. Let me pull up. Let me see if I can. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can pull up just Treasury futures. Dollar index, 10-year. So 30-year bonds or 10s? 30s or 10s? What do you want to look at? Short. You want to look at? Okay, I'm gonna pull up the 10-year then. I know Jason said it and not you, Romeo, but I'm gonna pull up the 10-year. Where'd it go? There we go. Sorry, give me a second. I'm getting the bar charts all. I'm just gonna go with closest contract. Very interesting. I rarely look at these charts. Okay, let me pull this over. Okay, I can go to the 30 after this if you want me to. Let's see here. This is a daily candlestick chart. Bonds have been dropping off. How do I, sorry, I don't use these very much. So you're going to have to forgive some of my incapabilities potentially. Oh. I'm just going to throw a couple on here. All right, without my moving averages, I'm pretty lost. Okay, so daily chart, bonds, stack up, almost about to Momo again, which would produce, see if my relationships are correct, bonds up, dollar up, right? I don't pay attention to bonds very much. So bonds up, dollar up. So that would be risk off for bonds up. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, cool. So on a daily chart, okay, it's sort of maybe leading this move that we're seeing across all the other pairs of sort of a pullback in risk, right? So when the bond price moves up, the yield lowers, okay, and this would be a this move here, okay, from oops, never mind, from here to here would have been risk on, okay, people leaving bonds to go to risk assets, okay, and then now they could potentially be coming back towards safety, okay. I hope that makes sense. I think I got that out of my mouth correctly. So at this point, okay, I would be looking for a Momo back up. I mean, on a daily chart, I'd be looking for a Momo back up. Oh, here we go. We can go. Okay, doesn't change a lot. Let's see what an intraday chart does here. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't look at this enough. I need to start paying attention more to bonds. So March 4th, 6, 7. So that was NFP. That was risk off, or I'm sorry, risk on, that we saw AUD and New Zealand and all those risk currencies appreciate, right? You saw bonds taper off, and now that we're, oil selling off and gold selling off a little bit, and the risk currencies are selling off a little bit, you're seeing bonds appreciate again. Yeah. So, at this point, man, trying to say anything other than it's in an uptrend that potentially will lead risk. Some of the stuff they put on these websites is funny, man. That poor lady. So this is I would look for a Momo up. Okay, I would look for sort of risk. I wish I could draw a trend line on here. You can see, from this point to this point, going down. Okay, if it breaks that trend line, right, then I think you have a potential for more risk off in the market. Okay, you have a potential for S&P lower. You have a potential for oil going back down towards, my targets. Sorry, oil still have room to go down. Is it safe to say dollar will still go up? It looks like, okay, it looks like that's sort of the direction right now. Okay, it sort of looks like And I'll get into it in a bunch of the currency pairs in just a minute, but and I'll get off of this tangent. But yeah, it looks like there's still some dollar up potential to me. Okay, oil's doing the dirty now. 4-hour chart starting to look, it's obviously still stacked very nicely. So I wouldn't say that we have turned a corner yet by any stretch of the imagination. This shelf at 36.10 would be sort of a first step in that direction. Okay, but you're going to want to see for oil to really change directions. Well, look at that. We have a 5-minute stack. Let's see what the 15 minutes doing. Yeah, 15 minutes at fair value. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty constructive pullback in oil. It may give way to that shelf we just looked at. So I think risk off is taking on a little bit. It's getting a little more legs than it had before. Let's look at a couple of oil stocks. I need to do some blog posts on this, okay? But that's a 15-minute chart. I was like, dude, that's a great CT. So actually, I want to go up higher than this. COP, right? COP is kind of from what I understand, okay, I'm not a stock guy, but it's kind of a big one because Buffett owns it, right? Buffett buys this up on dips, from what I understand. If it was me, okay, and this is the advice I'm giving to anybody that's looking at oil right now, okay, and I mean, I have the line drawn there. Hold on one second. Equities weakness. Your intermarkets were correct. Clues for interest rates regarding Fed. Oh man, I don't. Romeo, do I have any opinion on what the Fed's going to do, or can the bond offer any clues? What are we asking there? Mike, you want to look at PSX? I'll do that in just a second, all right? Because I think I am, in all honesty, I'm just as curious as everybody else to see if the Fed will actually follow through on a March raise. All right. I'm going to be flat going into next week for damn sure. In terms of we're not going to do crap next week except STI and have stops in, because I just don't. He's holding Phillips 66. Oh, okay, that makes a difference. Maybe we'll look at that one. Well, either way, we're still going to look at COP too, because there's some levels on these oil stocks that I think are very relevant to low 20s oil, where I think buys would be happening. So interest rates, I am waiting on pins and needles to see if the Fed's going to raise. Okay, I don't know. I don't see any clues out there. Okay, I'm not an economist. I'm not well versed in how the numbers all play together. Okay, but it doesn't look to me like increasing dollar strength right now in the face of everything that's going on is really the right play. Okay, you're gonna impact U.S. businesses even more. And it kind of just depends on how bad the ECB front runs, the Fed again. What are they going to do? And will it be enough so that the Fed doesn't have to act? So I don't know. In terms of the 10-year, I think, from what I've understood, the 10-year, okay, is, to me anyway, it's a whole different ball game than the interest rates they're talking about. Okay, if you want to game the 10-year, I think it's a whole different, to me it's a whole different ball game. And I could be totally wrong on that, and you guys could, change my diaper and give me my bottle and tell me I'm wrong. But 10 years are just they trade based on risk. They trade based on where people think that they can get a return for their money. And that may come from that initial interest rate. I don't know. I'm probably not the smartest guy in the room to talk about that, but I think that you could trade the 10 years on their own and understand what risk is doing based on the 10-year. Okay. And it could be something good for us to look at on a daily basis. Say, okay, what's the 10-year doing? And that could give us some clues as to what risk is doing. And that may be something I throw in to my, weekly analysis is some 10 years. So, okay. So COP, I'll do PSX in a minute. So he bought a few weeks ago, buying 900,000 shares through Berkshire Hathaway A. Interesting. I don't think I've ever looked at PSX, so we'll look at that in a minute. But if you want to talk about oil just in producers, okay, I've got COP here, Halliburton. I got a couple of financials on here. I started keeping a watch list of some of the stocks that either you guys have talked about or kind of interest me. COP is one of them. Okay, if oil's below 20, or I'm sorry, not below 20. If oil's below 25, okay, if it's in that 20 to $25 range, okay, let's say that's an enormous range. I get it, but if oil does what I think it's going to do, okay, then you're going to have an opportunity to buy oil stocks at decade low prices. Okay, you're going to have opportunities to buy oil stocks. You're going to have an opportunity to buy COP down in the high teens. Okay, this level here, 2610 on COP is, I wouldn't touch a share of COP above 2610 right now. Okay, you've got debt pressures, you've got overall industry pressures, you've got potential, market, just general market problems. Okay, risk off scenarios. I would be a buyer below 2610 on COP. Okay, you're going to see the same type of thing in Halliburton, right? 2638, or even, look, if you got to 2008 lows on Halliburton, okay, and you were down here in no man's land below 12, I mean, honestly, could you see a good buying opportunity there? Okay, let's look at PSX real quick while y'all are talking about it. So this is the one that, so this must be, yeah, this is integrated. So this is the arm that, do they actually run? Let's look at PSX real quick. I want to know what their actual business segment is. I want to know if that, okay, Phillips 66 American multinational energy company with ConocoPhillips execute a spinoff of its downstream and mid. So this is downstream and midstream assets. So it's refining and refined products. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the actual production of oil, and that makes sense. That makes sense why Buffett would be working on this instead of a company that's actually tied to the oil coming out of the ground, right? These guys are going to make their money based on, they're actually going to make more money, okay, or better money if they can buy the oil cheaper and refine it for the same prices, and then be able to hold on to it and sell it later. So there's some logistical ideas that go behind owning Phillips 66 versus somebody that actually pulls the oil out of the ground. Okay, anyways, monthly chart. Yeah, this bad boy, freaking, the fact that Buffett owns it is not going to let it go anywhere. I tried to pump and dump PSX. That's funny. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Mike. COP is is the guys that pull the oil out of the ground. These are the guys that refine it and sell it to you. And that makes a lot more sense as to why Buffett was taking shares in this. I mean, it makes a lot more sense. You know what? One of the industries that I'm going to do a ton of work on, just because I need something to do and I like the research project, is I worked with a couple of pipeline maintenance type of companies. Okay, guys that upkeep and maintain pipelines, and those companies, dude. I mean, those companies aren't going anywhere and they pay good dividends. So I'll be doing some work on those in the next month or so. For anybody that's interested. So PSX, I mean, obviously PSX is just going to be any dip you could get, you would just buy it because there's a huge whale behind it, and weekly liquidity is going to come in, $9 higher than right now in a stack. And that's probably not outlandish to think that that's going to happen. You're about to stack up in a daily chart. Bunch this up so I can see. Yeah, I think, okay, so yeah, nothing much to say about this one. It's going to go up. What else do we want to look at? So maybe that's all I need to look at over here. I've done the risk stuff, looked at a couple of stocks. DB came back to its breakdown point. Not sure what that's going to do from there. Let's just hop over to currencies. Unless somebody else has another stock or something else they want to look at. Overall, though, okay, in the big scheme of things, I think we saw that risk off was sort of coming back into vogue. Okay, risk on had its little day. Okay, AUD was bought up, dollar yen was bought up. New Zealand was bought up. Some of these other things were bought up, and now they're having to pay the piper a little bit for doing that. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm trying to figure out if it's a longer term correction or if it's just a blip in the radar, and risk is just going to keep going up. Okay. So let's start with Euro and our awesome, amazing. Every time I set a levels trade this year, this crap happens trade. Okay. I haven't been stopped out of it yet. Okay. Not saying that it's not going to happen, but, I would love to see some lower time frame stack downs on this, but it doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon. 5 minute and 15 minute. I would say if you have non-FIFO where you don't have the levels, I would say that, you are more than capable of trading some STI stuff on this long right now. All right. I know I got short levels, but I'm just saying if you have the ability, some of these momos look pretty good right now. Pound dollar. Okay, totally satisfied the CT. Perfect friggin' 786 move back up to the 200. Okay, I hope that you guys can see this as a glaringly awesome example of a CT that I did not get into. So in these cases, okay, I'm going to use this as a little STI, thing right now. Yeah, that would have been damn near impossible to get into. Huh. That's the thing about pound. It is, look at that. Ugh, straight up and then yuck. Yeah, you couldn't even have gotten into that move. I mean, unless it was a levels trade, you literally at the 786, you couldn't have gotten into that trade. Maybe the CT. You could have done a 5-minute CT, and that would have been your only opportunity to get into that stinking trade. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. But as these are working up, okay, you do have some opportunities for trades, right? I mean, they're not great. Some are better than others, but you had some opportunities for trades there. Stack is still the best. Stack is still by far and away my favorite thing to trade, and you can do a lot with Stack. Here's the odd chart, odd US dollar. Let's see, the structure right now is coming in at 73.90, so we could call it. Let's see if we could call it 74. Yeah, 74 is pretty good. 73.80 is a long ways away. 74, 73.90, somewhere in there would be structure on odd. Like I said, if gold, let me see if I can bring that gold chart up and we could do this. Let's see if we can do this simultaneously. So we'll do a daily of that. Come on. Boo. Okay, then I'm just going to move this over and we'll look at this. Okay. So I'm not saying it's a perfect representation, but I am saying that, you know, when gold goes up, odd tends to follow, right? If gold's going down, then odd has a tendency to more than most to follow it. Okay, gold mining is obviously present in Australia. It's present in Canada too, but for some reason, I mean, it's very present in Canada, but for some reason, odd dollar is the one that has a tendency to track with gold prices. Okay, so if you're U.S. based and you want to you know, try and have a proxy for gold, AU would be your vehicle, right? So, odd looks like. Look, I still think, okay, we had a CT, we had a satisfied CT. I still wouldn't put it past odd to get back down to this 200, right? I mean, so many times when I see this happen, okay, when you overshoot the 200, especially on a big time frame, man, it causes a lot of pain for people coming back down and back to fair value. Okay, it's very rare that on a daily chart or a big chart like this, you get a move, okay, that doesn't come back to the 200. Yeah, let me switch this over to 4 hour and I'll switch odd over to 4 hour. So you just saw both of them as dailies. Now let's look at them as both 4 hours. Okay, so like I said, it's not a direct representation. Okay, what is this? This low is in 1st of March. Okay, you've already done all this, and you know, gold peaked. Okay, gold was spiking here, and odd wasn't even in the game yet. Okay, so it's not great, but if you want to trade gold appreciation and you want to do it through a currency, that's a pretty good way to do it. Just trying to keep Hokies working. What is it? A spike sideways seems to be them. Oh, this year, XE daily. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, look, if you need a way to trade gold, this is an okay way to do it. You know, follow the rules, obviously, no matter what. But okay, so that's odd. I'm you know, if you're still, look, you're still in a place where if you want to trade momos and you want to trade, you know, PNCs on long odd, you know, it's still not a bad trade to be making. Okay, it's still not a bad trade to be making until this thing actually breaks structure. All right, you can still be looking for these momos and PNCs or fibs or whatever on the lower time frame charts. Okay, there's a 786. Boom shakalaka. Okay, it's still pressured up no matter what we think about it. Dollar yen. I'm so mad at this pair right now. I woke up at like, I don't know, 1 o'clock this morning, midnight or something. Maybe I was just so excited for my birthday. I was like, I can't wait for my birthday. And saw what was happening on this chart. Okay, I saw this 4 hour, right? And I saw this, it was in the middle of this candle. Okay, so 8. Oh, come on. March 8th, 8 a.m. Okay, so it's in here somewhere. I think it was this. It had just momoed here, and I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be amazing. Like, this is the perfect trade setup." The 4 hour I just crossed, right? We had just crossed over. I was like, "Yeah, dude, this is gonna be sweet. Birthday bucks coming my way. Happy birthday, Shawnee Cakes." And then literally, okay, for the next 5 hours, this thing decided to play this game with me. And where did I? Oh, I was playing all of this. No. The heck was I? Oh yeah. So it was right in here. So I was up, dude. I don't even know when I was up. I was up in the middle of the night somehow, and I was playing the 1 minute PNCs, and I was like, okay, dude, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna be in a great trade, and everything's gonna work out great. And then all this mess started happening. I think I was trading right in here. I think I made 2 trades here, and then had it go against me. I don't remember. I don't remember. All I know is I got caught in 4 hours or 5 hours of this, and I ended up getting out for a couple of pips, 15 minutes before it spikes the 112.80. Let's see here. Isn't that due in part to Stevens commenting about odd at 65? You mean the appreciation? I'm gonna hire James Earl Jones. I'm gonna get like a distortion mic thing, and I'm gonna just talk into it, and I'm gonna be like an electronic voice. Like, you're gonna have to listen to like a robo voice for the whole time. So anyways, dollar yen pissed me off today. I knew this was gonna happen. I knew 112.80 was gonna go, and I didn't have the capabilities to stay in it because the trade started to piss me off and started to stack up against me. And the boss changed directions, and I was like, you know what, you can have it. And I didn't get into it. I went to breakfast here when it PNC'd after. I told you if it broke 112.80, I was going to get into it again, but I didn't because I went to breakfast. So not cool. Here's another little Momo happening right now. I don't know, man. Still have a 111 target on this. I still think risk off is the name of the game for now. And 12.20 and then 111. Jeez. So I'll be looking to STI short this without much hesitation, which doesn't match very well with any of this crap because New Zealand and odd are both wanting to fly high. New Zealand and odd both, okay, are still potentials for some Momo and they're good STI trades right now on the long side still, okay. Haven't seen anything that this is a good formation right here. This is as good as you get And now if you can get a 5 minute to work it, okay, here was a little 1 minute PNC. Okay, if you can get the 5 minutes to start to cross back over and start doing it again, there could be some interesting trades there. He made some comment of wanting to see the pair down at 65 about the time of that drop. Yeah, I think any time that a central banker or anybody that has anything to do with politics or banking comes out and says they want to see something, it's probably going to do exactly the opposite of that. I think Samuel L. Jackson, because lately I think when you currency trading, the Pulp Fiction way. Oh man, so kind of weird, kind of weird stuff with AUD in New Zealand in terms of I don't know. Until this changes, it's lower time frame buy trades on both of them. Dollar CAD finally broke a little bit of structure here on our risk off move this morning, because in dollar CAD, obviously CAD's the risk and would be devalued in terms of risk off. Obviously our orders from here are no longer valid. I'll send out a levels email soon, but dollar CAD I would like to see. It's getting tougher to sell, especially with broken structure. Okay, it's the first time in a while. So you have here, 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 and then this could have potentially been broken structure, but it's not really. Okay, that's it. That you can't really call that structure. So then you have here, here, and here. So this is the first time that structure's been broken on dollar CAD. This was broken structure. Remember when it stopped us out? I mean, I was so thankful that we got stopped out there, because I mean, we would have made like, 500 friggin' pips on that trade. So, I'm so glad that we made 40 on it, because it was great. So dollar CAD, I mean, obviously you're still stacked down. Obviously pressure's still going to be to the downside. Obviously, my green box here is pretty awesome. Let's get rid of that. Okay, I will note that we bounced off the daily 200. Okay, that was a target of mine, and 3270 I think was the fib. So this is potentially if this daily bar can close like this, I think we have some upside in dollar CAD. Okay, I think that you could get back up towards the 20 and maybe take out another piece or two of structure and get a little bit higher before it has to make a decision on anything. So I'm sort of, with broken structure, I'm kind of done selling until we're back below the 20. If we get back below the 20, if that daily bar doesn't close the way it is now, you could start selling it again. But right now, broken structure above the 20, I would say that, sort of off limits for UCAD right now. Do you see all of this in here, though? I mean, if you were STI trading shorts through all of this, you probably would have done pretty dang good. Pound odd. Odd strength just keeps, punishing pound odd regardless of what pound does. Okay, this is what I keep saying. Most of the time, pound odd operates off of odd and not pound. Okay, odd's the base currency, and with odd strength, this is going to go down most of the time. Okay, sometimes it'll operate off of pound, but that's a rare occurrence. All right, because pound has been appreciating just as much as odd, but this has to go somewhere, and it's going to follow odd. So, I mean, you still have a good look here. You still have the stochastic hasn't over committed yet. I mean, if you tried to Momo this again, if it's, I mean, obviously it's stacked wrong right now, but If it's stacked down again, you could still be selling this potentially. Okay, the same way we'd Momo up odd dollar. Pound New Zealand, not as happy with this one. This one looks like it. New Zealand may show more. I still think New Zealand's weaker than odd. Odd has industry to back it up. I mean, New Zealand's got milk, and I mean, in terms of what's backing their currencies, it seems like New Zealand is going to be the the one that doesn't come in first in this one. So I would think that Pound New Zealand would move up before Pound Odd does. And there's not a lot interesting right there. If you wanted to Momo this, you could. Kind of ugly charts right now, though. So move with caution on that one. Euro Pound. Woo! Wow. What the heck? That all happened since I've been on here. Dang. All right. Is Euro following? Euro is following a little bit. So remember that lately, dollar yen and euro US dollar have been the risk on, risk off sort of tell. They're the tells. Dollar yen will drop, euro US dollar will go up. So if euro's dropping, that means that risk on may be back on the table. So I don't know. Maybe we'll luck out on this one. Maybe we will luck out on it. I don't know. So Euro Pound still at fair value, and see, it's drawn like a magnet to fair value, right? I mean, it's going to hang around the 200. It's going to get a little ways away, but the moving averages are not in a position to where you can really count on particular moves, right? You have to just assume that it's gonna be magnetized towards fair value until it breaks out again. So not a lot you could do on a smaller time frame there. Odd New Zealand, okay. This one I think is a good overall trade. Okay, I think it's something that we can hold on to for a little while based on what I said. About Odd and New Zealand. They're going to fight each other, in risk on, but ultimately I think Odd wins, and this could be a good trade. Daily liquidity would come in a very nice little double top there at 110.85. So 110.80 to 111 would be a great spot that I would love to see this run. Okay, that's 80 to 100 pips higher. Okay, and I think it's got it in it. So that's going to be a pretty good trade for us. Finally, something worked. Something worked. I'm not going to jinx it though. And so here is that same liquidity. Okay, and if we look another level up, you get to the 200. So that's a couple hundred pips higher. So we'll see how it acts up here and try and move a stop up and try and ride that trade for a while. Is there anything else anybody wants to look at? I've been yammering for a long time now, and hopefully you got some useful information out of it. Tomorrow morning, okay. Well, it's on my mind. I want to start doing the levels videos every day live. Okay, I want to do this every day live for the 10 or 15 minutes that I normally do a video. I want to do it live, and then I am strongly considering posting that video and the levels on the website again, like just the video and then the levels, like you get in the email, just on the website, and then just sending out the same email every day. Okay, your levels are ready. It would simplify my life a little bit. I want to do the live session because I want to be able to talk to everybody and answer specific questions. For me, from a standpoint of streamlining what I do, it would make a lot more sense to do that. In terms of putting it on the website instead of sending it out in the email every day, it would just make my life a little bit easier. I suck at keeping up with cancellations, and there's probably some good percentage of people out there that get my stuff for free just because I haven't taken them off the email list or whatever, just because I haven't kept my books right or my organized it right. But I can solve that problem by putting it all on the website. So if you guys don't mind, I think I'm going to do that. Do the live video every day around 11. Put it up on the thing, answer questions. That video though, I'll have to keep specifically for levels. I won't be talking about all this STI stuff and some of that, but it'll be quick. It'll just be, we'll go through the levels and you can participate and join if you want to. If not, you just catch the video on the website. And then I may be adding some other stuff soon. I don't know. I'm thinking about what I want to do, but anyways, so that's probably how it's going to look going forward. I'll probably by the end of this week have that all set up. So it'll just be a link. The email will just have a link back to the website every day like it used to, but it won't be so complicated back on the website. It'll just be boom, boom, boom. Be right there. So anybody have anything else? I need to figure out how to we go over the Odd New Zealand stop area where I have my stop or where the liquidity is that we're looking to run. Because this line is not where I have my stop. I've moved. I don't know why that line was there. It was down below here, but now I had moved my stop up to 80. It's hard to see the numbers. My eyes are getting old, guys. It's my birthday, so my eyes are getting all bad. So in all reality, now we could move it up to this structure. Okay, we don't really want this shelf to get broken. So you could go 109.50 if you wanted to on the stop now. Sorry about that. Yeah, that line was that was just a misplaced line that I hadn't moved to the proper place yet. So 109.50 is a good stop on that right now. If you want to keep it, full structure, full, you're willing to say, look, I want to live and die by this trade, you can go 108.80. So that would be the two places I would say on that, 109.50 or 108.80. And now, if this was something that you guys wanted to add to as well, you could think about doing that. You could do it relatively cheaply if you did a 618 or a 786 or an 886. Okay, kept the same stop here so that if it worked or if it didn't work, you'd be out. Let's just say you're out 20 pips, and you're still making 45, 50 on this. So, you'd cut your profits on this in half, but you'd take a chance at, to be able to add to this. So that's something you could consider if you wanted to. This is actually a fairly decent add-on candidate right now because of the stack. So something to think about. All right. Well, I think I've used up my 10,000 birthday words today. Hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully gives some insight into the week and maybe can provide for some trades this afternoon. I'll make sure to post more charts in the morning like I have been in the chat room and let you know about any upcoming changes that may be happening as soon as I possibly can. My goal is to sort of streamline this and make it as easy and good for all of us as I possibly can. It's taken me a while to kind of learn how to manage all of it, I guess. So anyways, yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. We'll plan on doing maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then definitely on Thursday, we're going to start the everyday levels live session. Okay. And that will just make my life 100 million times easier. And yeah, we'll go from there. Mike, you'll learn to keep your mouth shut. Why would you keep your mouth shut, man? You had some great questions today. I love it. I love having the conversation. That's why I want to do the live thing, because I'm kind of digging on the conversation we were able to have in STI versus me just, blabbering onto some freaking computer screen. So ask away, man. Don't ever shut your mouth. Just let it fly, bro. Let it fly. Mike, do you have an Oklahoma accent? Are you from Oklahoma, or is that just where you moved from, later in life? Okie by choice. All right, then I can't picture you with a thick Oklahoma accent now. Anyways, all right, y'all. I'm gonna cut this off. I'll be over in the chat room for a little bit longer, and I'll try and get out a levels email today. All right, guys. Have fun. Be safe. Keep your risk in check, and we'll hit some amazing trades again tomorrow. All right. See ya.